I'm Claire Novak. Welcome to that handicapping show, joined today by Frank Angst. Tom is out. Tom's birthday is coming up, so hopefully he's getting a chance to do some celebrating. The show, as always, sponsored by racingtoday.com. That's racing2day.com. And today we're going to take a look at a couple of races. We're going to go up to New York, check out the Empire Classic and some state breds that are running up there with a really vigorous program that's definitely on the improve and enjoyable to watch some of these horses compete in their home state. And then we're going to take a look at the Lexus Raven Run for 3-year-old fillies sprinting on the Polytrack at Keeneland. Not a super crazy busy weekend, but some good races nonetheless. So Frank, the Empire Classic, as I said, this program is just getting better all the time. You and I both follow New York a lot. What do you think about this race and how it drew?
Well, I mean, that card overall has quite a few graded stakes winners. This race is really, they pretty well got all the top handicap horses in New York to make it to this race, so it's going to be a very exciting race. The thing that struck me about it, though, is there's quite a bit of early speed. So I was looking at some of the horses that could come off the pace. Awesome Vision, Read the Prospectus, who's trying to wrap up a perfect year. He's just been spectacular in the New York bred stakes this season. But the horse that I kind of landed on is Zetterholm. This horse was well thought of as a 3-year-old, ran 4th in the Preakness last year, had been off for more than a year, came back at Saratoga, ran 5th, didn't show a whole lot, but I think he needed that race, obviously. I've seen some very positive works, some very steady works. This horse has been right on schedule, and that, to me, tells me that he's capable of running a big race here. The pace sets up for him, and I think he should be a decent price.
Yeah, I had to laugh when I saw that you were interested in this horse because going into the Preakness, he was one that I was kind of like, I don't know if he's ready to run against this kind yet, but he could be good later on. And then he did end up going to the sidelines, but we see him coming back here and a little bit deep as far as facing Read the Prospective, who's on a 7-race win streak, and the past 2 have been in stakes races. So, but like you said, maybe he needed the race and a chance to kind of get back into it, and he'll run better this time.
Yeah, as a fan of the sport, you can't help but to cheer for Read the Prospectus. It's always great to see a horse, continue a win streak. So
yeah,
that certainly would be fine by me. But in terms of a betting situation, I think Zetterholm has a lot of things in his favor. I go back to Preakness week last year. The horse really caught my eye. I thought he was really well put together horse.
And another horse in here that you have to take a look at is Saratoga Snacks, who's never finished off the board in his life and just a solid runner and one of those familiar names in the New York bred stakes races. And he's coming off a 3rd in the Morrissey at Saratoga August 1st, and so he's had a little bit of time to regroup, and hopefully he'll run a big one too. We're going to go ahead and look on to the Lexus Raven Run, which is for 3-year-old fillies. And in this race, Frank, how do you see it setting up as far as there's 14 fillies drew in with 2 also eligible, so a big field for one of the last 3-year-old filly sprints of the season.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of fillies going in the right direction into this race. I think it's going to be a very exciting race.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it's not like a race where I would bet 50 to win on any single horse because there's just a lot of horses that I like here, which to me, though, in that situation, I'm trying to find a bit of a price. And we were working without a morning line, which makes it a little difficult, but I think Jewel of a Cat will be a bit of a price, and that's who I landed on. I was really impressed with that filly's run in the Coronation Cup on the turf at Saratoga. Just every single fraction was above average. Just a very well-run race in that race. And she's been on the board 7 of 8 starts, has won half of those starts. She's won on dirt, she's won on turf. This is her first start on poly. But I do think when a horse has already shown that it can handle different surfaces, it usually can handle the synthetic as well. So I'm hoping that's the case here. After that big effort, it got some time off. So the people who kind of believe in the bounce theory, they'll probably like that. Because that was the best, by its speed figures, that was her best race to this point in her career. So they gave her the time off. So really, there's a lot going in her favor here.
All right, and a couple others to take a look at. My Option, who won the Arlington Oaks on the Polytrack, and she was on the turf. Her past 2 starts ran 3rd in the Pucker Up Stakes behind I'm Already Sexy at Arlington. And then another one, Silcita, who actually needs to rebound off a not-so-great effort in the Lake Placid, but had won a couple of stakes races, and actually the one that I would find interesting going into this is that she won the Bourbonnette Oaks at Turfway, which also has the polytrack form. So Ciao Bella Luna, Lighthouse Bay, a couple of others that are definitely talented in here, and some trying polytrack for the first time. So like you said, though, it's definitely going to be a good betting race, not really one standout.
Yeah, I'll probably box an exacta and play some exactas with Jewel of the Cat and also Silcita, who I like. That her best race was in the Bourbonnette, which is on a synthetic poly track, so she figures to like this surface. Turn by Turn intrigues me. This filly, all she's done is won her first 2 starts, broken vowels. They usually run well on the Keeneland poly track. Her best race was on the Arlington poly track. Then she didn't run as well on the turf at Indiana Downs, but she won.
She still won.
Which I always like that quality in a horse. Even when they're not at their best, they win. So there's some positives for her as well.
All right, good weekend racing card. Couple of minor stakes and things, but still definitely some good betting choices. So we thank Briss, as always, for the PPs. Thanks to racingtoday.com. For Frank, I'm Claire. Happy birthday, Tom. Thanks for joining us on That Handicapping Show.